All right, so are you ready to dive into some mindful eating today?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
We're going to be looking at this Healthline article. It's called 8 Ways to Be Mindful While Eating.
Okay.
We always hear about like slowing down and savoring your food, right?
Right.
But this goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
This is about like some serious benefits, like for your brain even.
Oh, yeah. And your health, like, it's not just about taking your time.
Yeah.
It's about, like, all your senses coming to the table with you.
I love that.
Like, really noticing those colors on your plate,
Yeah.
all the smells, and then even, like, the sounds, right?
Yeah.
That crunch when you take a bite.
Yeah.
It's like being totally there in the moment with your food.
Yeah, it's like a sensory adventure almost.
It is. And it's not just like some new age thing either. Like,
Yeah.
there's actual science behind this.
Oh, cool.
Like, the tip about eating the rainbow. Have you heard that one?
Oh, yeah, I love
Ah.
that one. It just makes like meal prep so much more fun.
It does. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's not just about looks, though. Like, think about a tomato, that bright red color.
Yeah.
Well, that's lycopene, and that's an antioxidant, and they say it's really good for your heart. But here's something really interesting.
Okay.
If you cook those tomatoes and then you add a little olive oil, it helps your body absorb that lycopene even better.
Wow. I did
Right.
not know that.
Yeah,
So it's not just tasting good and looking good. It's like you're getting even more good stuff from it.
exactly.
I always thought that olive oil was just for taste.
Oh, it definitely adds flavor, but it can help your body use those nutrients.
Interesting.
And that's true for a lot of foods,
Hmm.
like carrots, that bright orange, that's beta-carotene. Your body turns that into vitamin A, and we need that for our eyes and to fight off getting sick.
Great.
And blueberries, that dark purple color, those are anthocyanins, and those are powerful antioxidants.
Powerful.
They can actually protect your cells from damage.
Mm.
So when you pick colorful foods, it's like you're choosing all these health benefits too.
Okay, my mind is blown. This is like a whole new way of thinking about food.
It is.
What about cooking, though? Is there like a mindful way to do that, too?
Absolutely. Like the article mentions this idea of flow.
Okay.
Have you ever gotten so into making a meal that you like completely lose track of time?
Oh, yeah.
You're chopping veggies, you're stirring, maybe you're trying a new recipe, and all of a sudden like hours have gone by.
Wow. Yeah.
That's that feeling of being totally absorbed. That's what they call flow.
It's almost like meditating, but in the kitchen.
It is.
Yeah.
And this psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, he's the one who came up with that term flow. And he says, it's not just about having fun. It can actually help your brain, especially as you get older.
Wait, so cooking can actually make you smarter?
It's not magic or anything.
Mm.
But research does show that doing things that get you into that slow state can help keep your mind sharp.
Interesting.
Think about it. Cooking involves planning and problem solving. You've got to be creative and coordinate all these things.
Right.
And when you're really present in the kitchen and you're like experimenting with different flavors and techniques, all those mental processes are getting a workout.
So it's like a mental workout, but you end up with a delicious meal.
Exactly.
I like that.
And here's where it gets even more interesting. Our digestion actually starts before we even take a bite.
Really? I thought it all started in the stomach.
It does eventually, but it actually begins way earlier. Like, have you ever noticed how just seeing and smelling good food makes your mouth water?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's your body getting ready for food.
Okay, so what's going on in my body when that happens? Okay, so what's going on in my body when that happens?
So that's what they call the cephalic phase of digestion.
Okay.
It's like your brain is telling your stomach, hey, get ready. Delicious food is coming.
Oh, wow.
And just by seeing and smelling those yummy aromas, your brain is already telling your body to release those digestive enzymes like saliva and gastric juices.
Huh.
It's priming your system to digest everything really well.
So if I'm like stressed or distracted while I'm eating, does that mean my body won't digest as well?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
So the cephalic phase is just the beginning of digestion.
Right.
It's a really complex process. But studies have shown that stress can actually mess with your digestion.
Oh, no.
When you're tense, your body goes into that fight or flight mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it takes energy away from digestion to deal with that stress.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's so important to create a calm and enjoyable atmosphere when you're eating.
So like putting on some relaxing music, dimming the lights, putting my phone away, all that can actually help me digest better.
Exactly. It's all about engaging all your senses.
Yeah.
Think about how much more you enjoy a meal when you're at a beautifully set table, maybe with some flowers, listening to some nice music, and you're with people you love.
Oh, yeah.
Those sensory cues, they don't just make it more enjoyable. They tell your body it's time to relax, digest, and nourish itself.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. But real life gets busy. It's not always possible to have that perfect dining experience, you
All
know?
right.
Are there some like simple things I can do to be more mindful even when I'm short on time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the simplest things is to just pause and take a few deep breaths before you start eating.
Okay.
This helps you shift your focus away from all the stress of the day,
Yeah.
and it helps you be more present in the moment, and you can approach a meal with more awareness.
Yeah, I could see how that would help me slow down and actually savor my food more.
Exactly. And as you eat, try to pay attention to like the textures, the flavors, even the temperature of your food.
Okay.
Notice how each bite feels in your mouth.
Hmm.
Chew slowly and thoroughly, like really let your taste buds enjoy all those subtle flavors of each ingredient.
It's almost like turning eating into a meditation practice.
It kind of is, and just like with meditation, it takes time and patience
Right.
to cultivate that mindfulness.
Right.
But even small efforts can make a big difference.
I like that.
The article also talks about the importance of tuning into your body's signals.
What do you mean by that?
Well, our bodies are constantly communicating with us,
Okay.
sending us these subtle cues about hunger, fullness, and satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Mindful eating encourages us to listen to those cues and respond to them.
So instead of like mindlessly finishing everything on my plate, I should pay attention to when I actually feel full.
Exactly. It's about breaking free from those external rules that we put on ourselves,
Right.
like cleaning our plates or eating at specific times,
Yeah.
and instead tuning into our own internal wisdom.
So sometimes that might mean eating a little less than I planned, and
Yeah.
other times it might mean going back for seconds.
Exactly.
I've definitely been guilty of eating past the point of fullness, especially when I'm at a party or there's a really good dessert.
We've all been there. But the more you practice mindful eating,
Hmm.
the easier it becomes to recognize those signals and
Yeah.
respond to them in a way that honors your body.
Okay.
And remember, it's not about deprivation or guilt.
Mm.
It's about having a better relationship with food.
That's a good point. So how do I actually start incorporating these mindful eating practices into my daily life?
Right.
It sounds great in theory, but how do I make it stick?
That's where those small, consistent efforts come in.
Okay.
You don't have to change your whole eating routine overnight.
Right.
Just start with one small change.
Okay.
Maybe it's taking those few deep breaths before meals, putting your phone away while you eat, or just chewing your food more thoroughly.
Okay.
Once you get comfortable with that, you can gradually add in other things.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and incorporating mindful eating practices in a way that feels good and sustainable for you.
Right.
And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress.
I like that this has been so insightful. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of mindful eating. It's not just some diet trend. It's a way of approaching food and nourishing ourselves with intention and awareness.
It really is.
Well, I'm feeling inspired to start this mindful eating journey.
That's
But before we wrap up, is there anything else from the article that you think our listeners should know? All right, I'm feeling inspired to start this mindful eating journey. But before we wrap up, is there anything else from the article that you think our listeners should know?
there's one more thing that connects to what we were saying about digestion.
Okay.
The article talks about research that shows that mindful eating can actually improve your digestion.
Oh, interesting.
It makes sense when you think about it. Like when you slow down, chew your food really well, and pay attention to what you're eating, you're giving your body the best chance to break it down properly and absorb all those nutrients.
So it's not just about feeling good mentally and emotionally. It's like helping our physical health too.
Exactly. Mindful eating is a holistic practice. It's about nourishing your whole self, your mind, body, and spirit. And the best part is you don't need any special equipment or expensive programs. It's about making those small, conscious choices every day.
Yeah, I love that it's accessible to everyone. You don't need fancy gadgets or restrictive diets. It's about tuning into yourself and how you relate to food.
It's about changing your perspective. Instead of thinking of meals as something you have to rush through or a source of stress, you can start seeing them as opportunities to take care of yourself and nourish your body.
That's a really powerful shift. I know I'm guilty of eating lunch at my desk while I'm working or scrolling on my phone during dinner.
We all do it. But imagine putting away those distractions, even for just one meal a day. And truly savoring that experience. Notice the flavors, the textures, how your body feels as you nourish it.
Right.
It's about bringing that awareness and intention to every meal.
I'm ready to give it a try, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired too. So as we
Yeah.
wrap up this deep dive into mindful eating, what's one key takeaway you would leave our listeners with?
If you could take away just one thing from our conversation today, it'd be this: mindful eating isn't about being perfect.
Okay.
It's not about following strict rules or denying yourself pleasure. It's about building a more conscious, compassionate, and enjoyable relationship with food.
I love that. So as you go about your day, we encourage you to think about how you can bring a little more mindfulness to your next meal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's putting your phone away, taking a few deep breaths before you eat, or simply noticing the colors and the smells on your plate.
Every little step makes a difference. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There's always something new to learn and discover about yourself and your relationship with food.
Well, we hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought and inspired you to start your own mindful eating adventure.